You're listening to Nice-ish, a podcast about reality TV and your opinions, with your hosts, Cindy and Grace.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 38 of Nice-ish. I'm Grace, and I'm here with my co-host, my mom, Cindy. How are you?
Hi, Grace. I'm good.
Anything going on this week?
Not too much. You know, it has been freezing cold.
Yeah.
Freezing. We haven't even really wanted to go out much. So I found your old laptop, the one that weighs like 20 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't believe that I ever brought that anywhere. Like that I carried that on a plane.
I know. You could kill someone with that.
Yes.
Like, it is heavy. It's Windows. We switched over to Mac a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So we don't really use it for anything, but you kept it for all the Nancy Drew games that we have. And so for the last 10 days, I've been going through the list. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many there are. There's got to be at least 30.
Yeah, I think there's like 32, 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been going through and I've been playing old Nancy Drew games on your laptop.
They're so fun. I love them. And honestly, though, too, I was thinking about it when I was reading like the backs of the different games, of, like for which ones we wanted to play. I saw that most of them say that they're like 8 and up, and I'm thinking, what 8-year-old could solve this? Because they
can't.
No, they are way harder than you would think that they would be.
I can't solve some of them with clues.
Well, speaking of clues, I remember you asking me, okay, so at what game, like in the series, do we get to the point where they give you hints in the game?
Because in the very beginning, the first maybe 8 or 9,
yeah,
you just kind of had to go off your own theories and stuff. You had to walk around and just keep doing stuff over and over again because it doesn't really give you any advice on where to go. Mm-hmm. Like no checklist. Right. Newer games have checklists. And did you do this? Did you do that? But in the beginnings, they didn't.
Yeah, you just had to remember.
You just had to be smart, and that's not my strong suit. So I'm like, I was struggling. But yeah, it's hard to solve them without clues.
It is. That's why it's deceiving. You hear the word Nancy Drew and you think, okay, well, those are, children's type books, chapter books. So how hard could it be? But no, they're really fun, though.
Well, you told me that you thought you solved 2 of them with no clues whatsoever.
I did.
I call bullshit.
No, I did. I solved the one on the train, what was it? Last train to Blue Moon Canyon. I solved that one by myself. And I solved the Alibi and Ashes one by myself. That one is my favorite. I love that game. That's actually probably why I solved it by myself. It's because I liked it so much.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy that.
What do you mean?
I don't think any of them are solvable. I just don't think, I think they make stuff too hard. And then you're like, well, I was really struggling this one part where there was this journal and you're like, well, what does it say in the journal? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
you don't read the journal?
You don't read
like, there's
shit.
so much bullshit in the journal. I don't know. Like, you don't give me 4 pages of nonsense to read in somebody's journal. But apparently that had all the clues.
It's not nonsense. It's the answer. That's actually what it is. It's that you don't read anything. That's why you can't solve it.
I go somewhere, I pick up a book. I'm like, 5 pages? No. And I put it back down and I never go back to it.
Right. So there we go.
And then they're like, did you do this? I'm like, oh, that book?
I know. And then,
I don't know. I'm obsessed with these games, though. I really like them.
They're super fun. But also, though, I like sometimes when we don't know stuff, I like going back and watching that YouTuber Arglefump. His videos that explain, like, the walkthrough through the game. He is so funny.
Shout out to him. He's so funny.
He is. Oh, God. I love his reviews.
Well, we just got the newest one. It came out this year, or was it last year?
Yeah, no, it was this year. It was actually in May, and we didn't find out about it until...
We're not in May.
Oh, sorry, of last year. 2024. I forgot we're in a new year. I forgot we're in 2025. Yes, it was last year. Then it was May of 2025.
Yeah, you want me to believe that you solved 2 of these with no clues, and you don't know what year it is. Bullshit. But yes, it came out last May, and we didn't know.
I don't know how we didn't know.
And so we didn't get it till like maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was so disappointing.
They ruined it. The new people that bought her interactive ruined the game. It's insane how bad it is.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like, I wouldn't even recommend somebody buying it.
No, the last two have been not good at all.
No.
So, like, Sea of Darkness and Back, I would recommend, but those last two have been terrible. I don't know why. It seems like the graphics got worse, which I don't know how that's possible.
I don't get it either, because it was so hard to move around.
Yeah.
It was hard to go different directions. It was hard to look down. At one point in the game, we could not look down to pick up what we needed to pick up.
Yeah, we kept dying.
We had to look it up, and other people had the same
Yeah.
problem. So it was kind of trash.
No.
I wouldn't recommend it. But like you said, Sea of Darkness is awesome. And from there on back, if you can find yourself an old computer that has Windows on it, it's definitely worth spending an afternoon playing.
100%. Yeah, I would agree.
Super fun. Let's talk about this week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I thought it was really good.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
The whole thing.
Yeah, this season's been really good. There haven't been really any, like, bad episodes.
No, I would agree. So a few things happened, which I'll briefly mention first, but we're going to talk about the bulk of the episode and the most interesting part of the episode, which was Dorit's 4th of July party.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, it starts in Augusta, Georgia still, with Kyle saying that she isn't ready to leave yet and go back to an empty home.
That was so sad. I feel so bad for her.
I really do too. I know this is kind of her season to get picked on, and we've done our share of that.
Yeah.
But she's clearly struggling.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think it's one of those things that Kyle knows where it's like she doesn't want this to be happening, obviously, but she can't trust Mauricio anymore, so she can't be married to him. But she doesn't want a divorce either. It's like that middle place where it's like, I've known nothing else but being married to him.
Yeah.
So where do I go now?
They were young.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Then we have Reba finally say, I love you to Sutton.
Hooray!
We have proof. It is on film.
Yeah. I mean, maybe all those talks actually helped and worked, and maybe it got through to her a little bit.
I know.
And
Sutton
even
needs to record that and just put it on play when she needs to hear it.
I know, right? And even if Reba's like, I'll just throw you a bone here and say it, then still good for Sutton.
Exactly.
I don't care if it was, super genuine or whatever. Sutton got what she wanted, so that's good.
Exactly. Then we have Bose talking to her cousin Tina about her fertility issues and her getting tested, her man getting tested. And she's actually flying a doctor out from Vegas.
Yeah.
Which I thought only the CEO of Netflix could do that. But she did go into a very sad story, unfortunately, one that happens to a lot of women, that she lost her first daughter, Eve, to preeclampsia, which happens to a lot of women. Mm-hmm. And she went into labor at 6.5 months after her blood pressure kind of skyrocketed. And tragically, Eve did not survive the birth.
That's so sad.
I just can't imagine carrying a child, whether it's 6.5 months and, them coming early, or 9 months and having a stillbirth, and just, how devastating.
I just hope that she does something smart if she wants to be pregnant again. Maybe
a surrogate or something.
Yeah, because I would hate for that same thing to happen to her again.
I know.
And being older, it's even harder. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the barbecue. Dorit is having a barbecue for 4th of July. Apparently, this is something that she used to do yearly with PK. Mm-hmm. Although PK, she's made a note, is not there.
Right, yeah.
She doesn't know where he is, I don't think. He's like MIA.
I know. What shit bag.
Doesn't it really make you think how little he sees his kids?
It is a bit like, I don't think she was lying when she said, no, he's not a great father.
Yeah.
He's never around. The kids have to ask where he is. And if your kids notice that, like, are you getting a divorce type deal?
Right.
Like, where is he? Then
So Sutton's the first one to arrive. She waits about 25 minutes by herself until Kyle arrives, and then they wait for a total of 40 minutes, 39 minutes to be exact. But about 40 minutes they're waiting there until Dorit comes downstairs.
My advice to anybody going to Dorit's house would be don't go alone. Always travel with a buddy because that way you don't have to wait by yourself because she will take as long as she needs. Or did Dorit actually say that she didn't want to go down with just Sutton? Did she say that?
Oh, if she did, I missed that.
I might have just made that up.
Because she said she went up to put on a necklace or something. She was fully dressed.
Right.
She actually had guests there already.
Yeah.
So she went upstairs. Maybe she saw Sutton's car and then hauled her ass upstairs. But this really kind of sets the tone for how it's going to go. Then we have this really odd scene with Dorit taking Sutton's purse. I think it's meant as a joke, but Dorit's almost kind of robotic in her demeanor and her replies. So the whole thing's just really uncomfortable.
It is.
She wasn't going to give Sutton her purse back.
It did seem that way.
And she said she owed it to her. What the fuck does that mean? Like, what's going on?
It was weird because there was no like laughing with it. Like, oh my gosh, you owe me. How funny is this? I'm going to take your purse.
I know. Or I love this. Can I have it?
Right.
You know, she literally took it and said, you owe me.
It. I think that's why Sutton couldn't really read her. I think she was kind of looking at her like, are we joking? Are we not? Like, where are we here? Because I can't read you at all.
I think the funniest thing about all of this is that the first two guests to arrive are Sutton and Kyle.
Yeah.
The two people that Dorit literally can't speak to without getting in a fight.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious to me. She's like, oh my God, where's Erica? She couldn't have come first.
Right.
So once Garcelle arrives, things kind of kick off. And Dorit, Sutton, Kyle, and Garcelle are all sitting outside. And Garcelle asks Sutton what she's drinking and if there's alcohol in it. And Dorit kind of snarkily says, did you ask Sutton if there's alcohol in her drink? As if saying, of course she's drinking alcohol. Sutton wouldn't drink anything without alcohol. Mm-hmm. And Sutton is pissed and says, Dorit, you're such a bitch. Mm-hmm. And Dorit says, excuse me? And Sutton, she says that Dorit continues to perpetuate this rumor that she's an alcoholic. And she, quote, says, you're not nice. It's not nice. And Dorit says, well, don't call me a bitch in my own home. And Sutton gets up and says she's leaving, which she eventually does.
Yeah.
But let's dissect this, because the first thing I've read about in a couple of the comments was that they think Garcelle was the one who started it off by asking Sutton about her drink and if there was alcohol in it. So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I don't know why Garcelle would ask her if there was alcohol in it. I don't know, like...
Maybe she wanted a drink without alcohol.
Maybe. But does she drink without alcohol? I mean, I get why Kyle would maybe say it, because she's been continuously not drinking alcohol all season. But, I mean, I guess. But I don't know. I mean... I don't think that would kick anything off because it wasn't a malicious question or anything, but just more of what are you drinking, basically.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like she was literally just inquiring as to what drink she got.
Yeah. Because
there were several drinks available, and did yours have alcohol in it? Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like, what is that? Is what kind of alcohol? What, you know... I totally agree it wasn't malicious.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference for me. So I posted, did Dorit start this by making a crack about Sutton and alcohol, which she's clearly sensitive to, or is Sutton too sensitive to a joke? And we got a lot of comments. I chose 3. Mm-hmm. And I thought we could kind of talk about the pros and the cons, you know, because people sided with each one of them.
Okay.
So the first comment is from @brownsuddenly.bluesky, who sided with Sutton, saying, Honestly, making her wait 45 minutes and being so aggressive with her bag set the tone. Dorit was being a bitch, and she knows it. It wasn't a joke. It was a jab.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a jab. Absolutely. Especially if this happened last season too, then it was meant as one.
I think Dorit was still pissed about Sutton cutting her off with her story at Jagger.
Yeah.
And they haven't been getting along. And this was just a way of, making a little jab. I totally agree. It wasn't a joke.
No.
At least not a funny one.
Right. Although I did notice, though, Garcelle kind of was like...
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could have gone either way. Had everybody laughed about it, I think it could have diffused things.
Well, later, Garcelle does say it was a bad joke,
yes.
Sutton.
Yeah.
It was a bad joke.
Yeah.
So I think Garcelle did take it as a joke.
Yeah. So I guess if, she took it as a joke, we watched it, but I don't know.
Next, we have a post from @MamaVita_18 who sides with Dorit and says, she's too sensitive seeing how she handled Dorit's son asking about her divorce. Sutton was callous, and now she wants to be treated gently. You can't have it both ways.
See, I actually agree with this take, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sutton is a repeat offender of offending everyone at some point. So...
And she doesn't deliver things gently either.
She does not. And I think, would this hurt my feelings if it was said normally? Yes. I think she's being too sensitive for being on this show. In a show standpoint, yes, I think you're being too sensitive. Every single person has had really, really nasty things.
Yeah.
Yours is this. This is what it is.
Yeah.
So I think in the grand scheme of things, just let it go.
Well, lastly, we have a post from @BryMar88.BlueSky who sides with neither, which sounds like you.
Yeah.
She says both. But the problem is Sutton can joke about everyone else and be obnoxious and insulting, and everyone is just expected to accept it as her personality and her Southern humor. But if anyone jokes about her, it's too far and she's the victim over it.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I would align the closest to, is that you both are a problem and you both suck and you need to get it together.
So I did pull 2 more tweets, though, discussing this whole issue because I thought it was really interesting the way they thought Sutton handled walking out.
Oh, yeah.
So @Estico2 says, Sutton is sensitive to everything said to her, but if you're going to call someone a bitch, don't run away when they call you out. It's the storming off that's annoying about her. And @TGilly27 replied with, I rarely agree with Kyle, but she clocked Sutton in her confessional. Sutton gave Kyle hell about leaving Bose's, but as soon as she's upset, she bolts and that's okay. Sutton is really getting on my nerves this season.
Yeah, I mean, that was the glaring hypocrisy here this episode, which is you literally just got done 2-3 episodes ago telling Kyle, like, what are you apologizing for? You shouldn't have left. You shouldn't have this. You shouldn't have done that. And then you do the same thing.
I mean, she made a huge deal about it.
Yes.
Bose was like, let's go over there. So, I'm not going over there. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not bowing down to Queen Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, she made a huge deal about Kyle leaving.
Yeah, she did. So, I don't know. And I hate the storming off, too. I hate it when anybody does it. And I think people do it because they don't have a comeback right away. Mm-hmm. They don't have a smart one, at least. So, they're either caught off guard, so they're like, I'm going to leave, so that way I
have time to think about it?
Yes. Have time, exactly.
Well, I would agree with you. I don't think it should be allowed. While these shows have a lot of conflict, it's also supposed to be about resolution and dealing with shit. Mm-hmm. And you can't have any of that. That's why we have reunions.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, you got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. So where are you then? Are you more Team Sutton, Team Dorit, or are you Team no one?
I agree that both of them had faults here.
Yeah.
I tend to side with Dorit more only because, yeah, I know it was a jab, but she's tired of Sutton being disrespectful and dismissive.
Yeah.
So she took a jab back, you know? Okay.
Right.
And I get why Sutton was upset about it and offended by it, but I just don't care.
I know that. Yeah, I get that totally.
So I understand.
Right.
But, you know, oh well.
Oh, well. It's the way the show works.
After all this, I thought a funny moment was Garcelle ordering a watermelon vodka, because that's literally what Sutton was drinking.
Yeah.
And so ordering the same drink, I kind of thought was hilarious.
I know, right? Like, well, it's gotten so much hype. I guess I gotta try it.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah.
So Sutton gets up to leave, and Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton all congregate at the front door.
Yeah.
And Kyle and Garcelle are trying to talk Sutton out of leaving and, you know, stay, just deal with it. Let's have a good day. And this is when Bose arrives and kind of yells out as she walks in, "Excuse me, bitches."
Oh, God. No.
And I thought, of all the words she could use,
Yeah.
I mean, bitch is the hot word of the day.
Yes.
So that was kind of funny.
It was funny.
And then Erica arrives, and they're all still there.
Yep.
And she gets pulled into it, but says, "I haven't even gotten past the front door. I just want a hot dog."
The yearly hot dog.
If I could just fill up my belly, I could listen to all of you, but I can't when I'm hungry.
I feel like that's like the longest running joke for Beverly Hills, too, is that she only has a hot dog once a year at 4th of July.
Do you think that's true? It seems like it.
It seems like it. Yeah, I actually do. Yeah. Because they did the flashback of her talking to Lisa Rinna about it.
So while they're all standing there by the front door, Bose tells everyone that they need to stop coddling Sutton. And Garcelle tells Bose to stop being Dorit's spokesperson. And I got some interesting comments on this.
Yeah.
Stuff that I didn't think of.
Oh, okay.
Because I had posted, "Garcelle, you can't call Bose a spokesperson when you were literally the messenger for Sutton with her mom. It's what friends do." I mean, Garcelle actually used the word messenger. I guess
Yes.
I am the messenger.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? But I actually got quite a few comments with this viewpoint. And this is from @outlander-black.bluesky, who says, "The difference is Garcelle knows what's going on. Bose is lecturing people without having a clue of the facts of the situation and hasn't really had an opportunity to be anyone's friend or spokesperson." So there were a lot of comments that were saying this. Look, I get that they sound similar, but at least Garcelle has been in this group for a couple years and has some history. Bose has been there about 2 months and seems to be taking Dorit's side no matter what every time. And I do think that that's kind of a valid perspective.
I don't actually see it that way in this instance.
Okay.
I think that everybody's sitting at the front door. Nobody's in the party here. It's like, what are you doing? This looks very rude. I actually don't think she said anything to defend Dorit. Dorit wasn't even there when she walked in. So Bose walks in, sees the three of them sitting there, is like, what is going on? Like, what? And Sutton's like, she wants to leave, and all that stuff. And it's like, well, let's go enjoy the party. Let's whatever. Let's
But that's
get
the
in.
point. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what just happened.
I think it looks rude. I just think, though, for Sutton, if you're going to leave, just leave.
Yeah.
Let's not have everybody coddle
Fair.
you and take you away from the party. Because that's actually what she's doing.
Yeah, she's taking all the guests.
Yeah.
Or at least the
Ones,
cast member
right.
guests.
And they're
Yes.
all like, what's going on? What's up with this? Why are you sitting here? Like, if you're going to go, just go. Because now we're
That's
just
fair.
talking about you, and I don't know why.
And probably for a while.
Yes, knowing Sutton, it's just like, beg me to stay, basically.
Right.
And then finally she does leave, so it's like, okay, that didn't do anything then. So, I don't know. I think it's fine for people to be friends. And if Erica even thinks it too, like, Garcelle, you speak up for Sutton all the time. let Bose speak up for Dorit. They're all friends.
Right.
So I don't know. If I walked in and saw them sitting there, I would think it's rude.
Mm-hmm. So we get this snarky confessional from Sutton taking a shot at Dorit, saying, sorry your businesses have failed and your divorce isn't clean. And I thought, oof.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been told over and over again, you kick someone when they're down.
I know.
And there is nothing wrong with having a fight with a friend. Mm-hmm. We all do. We have fights with our children.
I felt that. That was a jab.
But what we don't do is try to take low blows. You want to keep a friendship intact after a fight.
Right.
And so there's nothing wrong with having disagreements and fights, but it's how you handle it afterward. And if you're going to take these low blows and jabs at her marriage and that, you know, I don't know, that Beverly Beach didn't do well, mm-hmm. or that, you know, whatever she's doing isn't working and she's bankrupt or whatever. Those are things that I think in a normal friendship wouldn't survive.
Right.
They're on a show and have to film together. So it's like either get over it or you're fired.
Right.
But under a different circumstance, those would be kind of not something that a relationship or a friendship could come back from.
No. And you wouldn't know it because the person wouldn't say it to your face. So you'd either hear about it from somebody else or...
Right.
But this is why I think Sutton just needs to take the stupid alcohol comment and let it go. Because if you want Dorit to let this go, then you need to be expected to let that go, that her comment about you.
Yes.
Like, if we're doing this tit for tat thing, fine, go for it. But you can't walk off and do all that shit.
So the conversation switches from Sutton and Dorit to Kyle and Bose. And earlier in the day, Erica had told Kyle that Bose told her that the vibes just aren't vibing with Kyle. She feels no warmth from her. And Erica makes a crack about Kyle being a little iceberg because she's the ice queen.
That was so cute. I thought that was so funny.
Why is Erica my favorite person this season?
I know. I really like her.
I do too.
I think she's funny, and I think she actually isn't very icy at all. I'm not getting that vibe.
She's not inherently cold?
No.
PK is such a dick.
I know. He's an asshole.
I think enough time has passed that I can say that I am kind of enjoying Erica. I'm not sure. I might have to... delete this part of the podcast later.
Right, I know. Come back in a week and see if it's gone.
So Kyle brings this up to Bose, and she's trying to talk through it with her, but Dorit is constantly chiming in.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like, Dorit, just let them talk. And I think it's fine if you don't gel with everyone in the group right away. I mean, that happened with Garcelle and Kyle, mm-hmm. you know? So... it does happen, and I would feel like if I was Bose coming into the group, I just had surgery, you sent me flowers, but you came to tell me your side of the story.
Right.
And it feels very,
manipulative?
Yeah, like you just want me to believe you. Like, do you actually like me, or do you just want to tell me about you?
Well, it is kind of a hard position for Kyle to be in because... clearly, Dorit and Bose took to each other immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Dorit and her are having issues, and Bose is your best buddy. I want to be friends with her too,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know how to weasel my way in there, especially because Kyle's having so many, emotional issues going on right now. It's just hard to connect to anybody new, probably. So Kyle tells Dorit she's being annoying and to let her finish talking to Bose. But that actually really doesn't happen. Kyle and Dorit end up going upstairs
mm-hmm.
and having a pretty intimate talk, I think, about their relationship and their marriages. And Kyle's kind of looking around. She sees the disorganization. She sees dead orchids. And she finally kind of understands where Dorit's head is.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of seemed like it. It seemed like them just sitting down, the two of them talking about, their problems was a good conversation to
Yes.
have without anybody else around.
It is a good conversation, but Dorit keeps asking Kyle if she wants Mauricio back or if she wants a divorce. She asks Kyle several times,
Yeah.
in fact, but she keeps getting this non-answer.
Mm-hmm.
So they show a clip with the headline 1 week later at the very end of the episode, which shows Mauricio with Garcelle says half naked blonde at the airport kissing. And I wondered, was this the trip that Mauricio said he was taking Portia on? Because he said that they were going to go to Europe and then either Mykonos or Mallorca.
Mm-hmm.
And Garcelle in the clip says that's Mauricio at the airport in Mykonos.
Oh.
So I'm like, did he drop Portia off with her girlfriend and then go to meet this bimbo?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It could very well be that. I thought that they went on that trip earlier, but maybe I am not getting the timeline correct.
I don't know either. Nobody was particularly clear.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the replies, we all seem to think it, but nobody knows for a fact.
Oh, that's the best kind of info, though, too, is the one that you're just assuming. We think that's what happened.
So in the sneak peek, Erica is calling Kyle about it and asking her if she knew about Mauricio's new bimbo. And she didn't.
Yeah.
And then we have also a clip of Sutton and Dorit fighting again. And Sutton says, you need to pick on somebody else whose wallet fits. Erica says, you think you're bigger than her? And Sutton replies, my wallet is. I don't get it at all. Can you explain this to me? Because I'm lost.
I'm lost too, because I was going to actually ask you the same thing. Can you explain to me what she's talking about? Because I have no idea.
Who cares if you're having a fight with somebody who has more money than you?
Well,
is that what
also,
she's getting at?
It seems like it, but also, Sutton, you have more money than probably anybody on there, so everybody's poor to you, probably.
Except Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, right.
That's
true.
money there.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Yes.
I just don't get the argument. Go fight with someone else whose wallet fits. Like, I'm too rich to fight with you.
Yeah, I guess.
I wish I was that rich.
You peasant.
So next week should be good too.
Let's talk about this week's episode of Summer House. So it ended last week kind of with Carl showing up, and we didn't really see much of him.
No.
But he shows up to the house, and he walks out to say hi to everyone and doesn't really say anything to Lindsay, which I guess is to be expected. I don't know what you do. I mean, an acknowledgement might be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of knew it was going to be awkward, but it's of your own making, so, suck it up.
Right, I know, right? So the guys decide that they're going to go out to lunch and the girls stay in at the house. And it was so funny, too, because Amanda and Paige were like, with Lindsay pregnant, it feels like they're all pregnant, too. Like, it's all their collective baby.
I know. That's funny. And it's actually kind of how it works. So,
Like, I got to get my life together. I got to get my taxes done.
yeah, that was funny.
So at lunch with the guys, Jesse is driving me up a wall.
Already.
Like, creepy.
Yes.
He mentions Lexi, and the guys ask if, like, he's even texted her yet. And he says that he doesn't have her number, even. And you're already talking about, like, that you're basically in love with her.
I get that he's partially joking, but then he says he's not joking at the same time.
Right.
And he's clearly smitten with her, but it's just too much, dude. Like, back off.
It's a lot. I don't, you're being really, like, goofy about it, too. You know, it's weird. Like, I feel like the problem with this is that it's very, like, he's trying to play it off and be goofy, but this has very, like, stalker vibes kind of to this, where it's like you're infatuated with somebody, like, immediately, and it's a little bit much.
It's off-putting.
It is. Because then it's like, it just seems like you're trying to smother her, like, already.
With a pillow. That comes later. When she breaks up with you.
Right.
No, I don't think he's a murderer.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot, and we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm hoping as he's watching this now, he's cringing.
I know, because this is not a pleasant
No, it's not
interaction.
attractive.
No. So on the way back to the house, he FaceTimes Lexi in the car, and the guys are just like cracking up in the background. Which also, if I was a chick, I'd be like, who are you laughing at? Are you laughing at me or are you laughing at him? That would also be what I would be wondering too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that his buddies kind of, keep checking him because they know how stupid this is.
Yes.
So
if Kyle knows it's stupid, then you really gotta take that into consideration. Like, dude, I think you're being unrealistic here.
Yeah, and weird.
Yes. So then Jesse meets up with Lexi, and they eventually start making out in her room, and it's literally been less than 24 hours. Like, this could really only end badly, I feel like.
I mean, it's not like a hookup where you go and then you never see the person again and you can forget it happened if you want. This is like in the same house every weekend, filming together. If things go well for you as a cast member, then you're there year after year. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is what production wants.
No, that is true. It's just like, I don't know how as a chick you don't see Ciara and West in their situation and be like, okay, this could happen. So maybe let me just get to know everybody first.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on. So if this could happen to her and I see how hurt she is, maybe I should, but
he's just coming out of the gate hard. So, I don't know. She seems to like him too, so whatever.
Then we get Carl kind of talking to Lindsay, like sort of a bit. And Kyle's there. Of course, Kyle's there. You always got to eavesdrop.
Oh my God. It's the funniest part because that would be you and me.
Oh, yeah. I would want to know.
Oh, I all of a sudden need to like dust and clean up in the room right next door so I can kind of.
Got to make sure the speakers are working properly. I love how Lindsay called him out on it too. Immediately. Like, I know what you're doing. You did the same thing last year. So, but they end up talking and Carl congratulates Lindsay and she accepts it. And it was awkward, but I don't think it was bad. I think it needed to happen, the conversation.
I would agree. They needed that initial conversation to kind of break the ice. I think Lindsay was fine. You don't need to make things easier for him.
No, I know.
He's, a big old bag of shit, in my opinion. So, make him work for it and then leave it alone.
Well, I mean, it's like Lindsay's the one who's moved on and fine, too. It's like Carl keeps talking about, he's like, well, I want to make sure that, like, it's not awkward or it's not this, that. It's awkward for you, buddy. She's fine.
Right. Exactly.
She's good.
Yeah.
So then the biggest part of the episode this week was Ciara and West and their stuff. And Ciara mentions that she had told West a lot of personal family problems she was having. And for him to kind of mention that in the New York Times article that they weren't each other's person is what really hurt her because she thought they were.
This is rough. I feel bad for her because I think West literally just changed his mind.
I know.
And she's so careful that she's like, you're pursuing. Okay, fine. I will open myself up to this. And then he handled the whole thing horribly.
Yeah.
And you're going to the New York Times and giving them an article saying things that you did not have the balls to say to her face.
I think that, that's kind of the whole problem with this because at dinner, Ciara brings up the article and says that West should just really keep up the same energy as what he said in the article to her face, which I agree. And West wants to have a conversation privately. And Kyle selfishly says, well, I'd like to hear this. Dude, he's supposed to be your friend, You're like throwing him under the bus immediately just because you want to hear the conversation.
Well, I think it was really smart on Ciara's part to say,
100%.
No, we're doing this in front of everyone. That way, nothing gets turned around. It's not a game of telephone where you hear one person's perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting there. It's going to be told to everyone the second they all leave the table anyway. So no, let's do it right here.
Well, you want to know what? We have this unique thing with Wes, though, where he doesn't say anything. So probably the hearsay would have been, yeah, Ciara talked to me and Wes said nothing.
And that's just the whole point. He's such a coward about all that. I think Ciara could have moved on way sooner if she had reasons why this relationship didn't work. But he never told her anything.
No.
He just kind of ghosted her. And so if you had said all of the things that you said in the article to her face, she would have known this isn't happening again.
Yeah.
But she didn't know.
No. And you can't really ghost somebody who you're on a TV show with. You're going to see the person again. And you're just making it way worse for yourself. I don't know how he's like, I didn't know what to say or whatever.
I know.
You knew what to say in the article that they quoted you in.
Exactly.
So I just think it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, he's a coward.
So after that whole conversation, sort of, with Ciara mostly talking and Wes saying nothing, Lindsay kind of breaks that silence and is like, I have to go to the bathroom now. I am constipated and I feel the urge to go now. So I am going to go. And, everybody starts laughing. Even Carl started laughing, which is good. And Lindsay thanked him for dinner, too. Like, she literally was like, thank you, Carl, for making dinner for everyone.
I agree. Lindsay's been the adult the whole time with Carl.
So last week I had said on our episode that I thought Ciara was probably not into West anymore. And I thought she's just really angry about what happened.
Oops.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because Ciara mentions after the dinner that after she kind of cursed out West, that she also kind of wanted to make out with him after. And I thought, okay.
Yeah.
So she wants to have a good relationship with him and be friendly, but she doesn't really even know if he cares one way or the other about her.
He doesn't.
Yeah, and
he does not. And this is why there are some people who feel like she's dragging this on longer than it has to be. Because if she was over him or was just like, he was so mean to me, I could never be with this person again, then you move on. But she's clearly still interested. And so it's like, oh my God, girl, what do you need him to do?
Yeah. I think that she literally just wants, like, accountability from him. And then after, she would be like, okay, good. So now that you've done that, let's start over and let's try again. I think that's what she wants.
Well, it's just
It's
dumb.
not going to happen, though.
It's this horrible idea. And I really hope that Paige is like, I will never let you go there again.
I know, right?
Not to mention, that's not what West wants.
No, it isn't. I mean, West is even like, I don't want to have a conversation with Ciara because I'm scared. Literally said he was scared.
He's really so wishy-washy, but he's not there anymore. He's probably hooked up with a million girls since her, and he's not interested. So it's like, come on, girl, move on.
I'm not sure if it's because they were on the show together and then after people were liking him that he was like, oh, now a lot of people are interested in me.
I think
maybe
so.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
But
I have an opportunity to hook up with whoever I want out there. So it's very young.
Yeah.
Like,
A young mentality.
Yeah. I don't know how old he is. Do you have any idea?
Well, he's got to be older than 26 because that's what Lexi is, and she's the youngest one, so he's probably like 28, 29.
Well, that's surprising then. You would think at 28 you would be ready for a serious relationship with somebody, and the fact that he's not is kind of weird.
It is weird. I think it's definitely because of the show, though. Like, I think that he's doing it more quietly than Jesse is. Like, Jesse's clearly, like, feeling himself now that he's, cancer-free, which is great. Right. But also because of the show, yes. I think he's, Yeah,
he's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, and it's too bad because I really liked West a lot, like, in the first season. He's got a great personality. He's super fun and funny to be around. So it's disappointing to hear that he wasn't great to Ciara.
And the thing that was most attractive about him was his personality, because it's not
Right.
his looks, really.
Right.
So if you're fun and sweet and all of that, that's why so many times you see attractive women with much less attractive men.
Yeah.
Because they have the personality that attracts you to them.
Mm-hmm.
He just lost the personality part now.
I know. And what's left? Nothing.
What's left?
What's left? So towards the end of the episode, Ciara and West finally have a private conversation where West actually speaks. And I think that he took the advice of the guys and was like, you need to talk to her and you actually need to say something.
All of them said that.
All of them did.
Yes.
And he ends up apologizing to her in this, it's kind of a weird, awkward West way. Like, I don't really know if it's quite the apology that Ciara wanted, but I guess at least she got one.
Right.
Ish.
He could have put a shirt on.
Right. I know. I don't know. How do you feel about his apology? Do you think it was genuine, or do you think it was like let me just try to have this conversation and get it off my back so we can move on?
No, I do think it was genuine. I do think he's sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think he likes her as a person. But I think he knows, he fucked up big time, and he's not a very good communicator.
No.
And so, but I do think he's sorry.
Yeah, I think he probably is too. I think that's probably actually why he's quiet, because he knows that he messed up, but he doesn't know quite. It's like he doesn't want to take blame for it, but he knows that he did, so he doesn't know how to say that without, It's just a weird way of
you
talking.
can't look worse.
Good
Honestly,
point.
I messed it up. I said everything wrong when I actually was speaking, because most of the time I didn't say anything. But I'm really sorry. I should have had this conversation with you a long time ago. I should have spelled out how my feelings changed. Whatever. She's going to get hurt regardless.
Yeah.
But if you were a man about it, it would have hurt less, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So that's how the episode ended. And then we get a sneak peek for next week's episode, which is their 4th of July party. And Kyle sends Paige a long rant text about Craig, about the whole, lover boy seltzer type.
I actually saw somebody who translated the whole thing on Instagram.
Oh, really?
And one line in it was about Craig.
Oh.
One line.
Yeah.
And then the rest of this monster text was about Hannah and Paige.
Oh.
And them saying shit about him, that he was cheating on Amanda up until their wedding. He went on and on. It was nothing about Craig.
Oh.
So that was really weird.
That is weird. Yeah, because the episode or the sneak
Yes.
peek implies that it's literally
Yes.
about him. Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody was kind of saying, too, on Instagram. It's like, boy, they're really framing this around Craig because they know that's kind of what's going to drag you in or pull you in.
Yeah.
But no, it was all about Hannah.
Oh. Interesting. Well, I can't stand Hannah.
No,
so
I've never liked Hannah.
I don't
like
doubt it.
Kyle either.
No.
But I don't like Hannah.
And then Lexi and Jesse will also talk about pursuing only each other, and that'll happen next week. So
We'll see how that goes.
God, this conversation is maddening.
Hour one, he chose her.
Yeah.
Before they've had parties, before the summer started, before
Right.
anything. So you're going to claim somebody like that? You better be in it. So we'll see how that goes. They were sitting next to each other at the premiere party.
Yeah.
So either they decided to do that and just see each other, or they're faking it.
I wouldn't doubt either from both either scenario.
Right. So let's talk about part 2 of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. It starts with Andy going into Mia's dressing room and talking to her about a shame spiral that he thinks she might be in.
Yeah.
And as awful as she's been this year, I think Andy kind of recognizes a bit of a gang up. And no one likes that.
Right. I thought that too. Whether or not even Andy sides with her or not, just to go in and be like, hey, I get that you're, everybody's talking about you here, and not in a great light either. So
Right.
just come back out, I'm here, basically.
You might feel isolated, but don't, you're doing fine, and don't, judge yourself. Just come on out and do your best. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So then when everybody's back out on set, Andy asks Giselle and Ashley if they're still dating Nams and Josh. And ironically, both of them went on that dating show.
I know. That's what I thought was so funny about their answers, especially Ashley's, because she was like, we've, taken things a little less seriously right now. I'm like, yeah, it's because you had to go on this show. You had to go on Love Hotel. So yeah, I need to put a pin in this for right now because I have to go film a dating show.
Yeah.
So if I don't find anybody, I'll get back to you.
Exactly.
You're always here.
If I meet somebody better, it's been nice knowing you.
Right.
But yeah, so she's like, we had to chill out on it or something. But it's funny. Actually, somebody posted a picture like 2 days ago, I think, of Ashley with Josh. They still hang out. So
oh, that's good though.
I don't know how serious it is or anything, but yeah. But the dating show thing would put a cramp in anybody's style.
I think so.
Andy then asks Kiarna if she and Greg are still together. And this one was a bit more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because she said yes, and they were looking at rings just a couple days ago. But then she goes on to say that they did separate for a while. She had moved out, and she's currently in the process of buying a condo. And so Andy's kind of like, wait, you're looking at engagement rings, but you're buying a condo? Like you're buying a condo. She's like, yeah. It'll be great, premarital property. And he's just like, okay, tell yourself what you got to tell yourself.
You can buy it. I'm not buying it, but that's okay. Like, don't try to sell me on this because this is, how this sounds.
Because
this
2
sounds
weeks
weird.
after moving in with Greg, she moved out.
Right.
So you think this is going to work, just convince yourself.
Well, it's like, when you're married that, one of the deals is that you have to live with the other person, right? Like, you do know that. I mean, that usually comes with it. The territory is that you got to live with them. So, I don't know.
Yeah, this is just, setting herself up for when it doesn't work. So that was funny.
Yeah.
Then as Andy's talking to Stacey, he asks her about her former boyfriend, TJ.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at all.
No.
I was like, oh, former. It was a good thing the other women did because I would not have noticed it.
I didn't either.
He must have asked Stacey about it then.
She had to have told them because they probably were like, are your significant others coming, to everybody? And she was probably like, TJ and I aren't together anymore. So, yeah, he probably couldn't wait to let that tea out.
Oh, my God, I know.
So he asked her why they aren't together anymore. And she said a couple reasons. First, looking back on the season, she didn't like the way he spoke to her. And they did a bit of a montage, which was gross.
Yeah, I didn't love it either. So I thought that was a decent reason as to why.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're in it, you don't see it.
Right.
But she had a chance to see it and thought, okay, no, I deserve better than this. And then she said her family was also extremely upset at the way he treated her.
I would be too if I was, her sister or her any relative at all. Then I would be like, let's move on from this.
She also said it was hurtful that people thought she had paid him to be on the show. And that question did come up later. Like, they compared it to the Kenya Walter thing.
Oh my God. And then they did a flashback to that too, which was so funny.
We should watch that season again.
Yeah, that flashback where he looked petrified after she mentioned that she wanted to get engaged.
Whoa, slow down.
That's not what I agreed to. It was not in the contract.
Then she also said that it was hurtful for Wendy to say that TJ seemed more interested in the male trainer than her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you think that Wendy meant that? Do you think she implied that he was gay, or do you think she just meant, I think he's more interested in anybody than you?
I think she was implying that he was gay, which I don't love.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if he's gay, he'll be gay. Mm-hmm. So those were her reasons why it just wasn't going to work.
Right. And I thought it was funny, though, that Wendy apologized to Stacey, but then Ashley said to Wendy, Josh was offended that, you called him a lateral move.
Which was horrible, by the way.
Right. And Wendy got super pissed and then started talking about Eddie. Like, this is what it is, basically. And
well,
it's like,
to be fair, Stacey hasn't said anything about Eddie.
So that's probably why Wendy was willing to take it.
And I don't think Ashley owns much here. Ashley was the one who brought it to camera.
Nobody seems to understand that.
No. I don't care that you didn't write the blog.
Right.
You brought it on national television.
You might as well have.
Right. Exactly. Byline Ashley.
Right.
So, but the ultimate dig was calling it a lateral move.
Yeah.
Because Michael Darby is disgusting.
No.
Poor Josh.
I know.
Got hit with a 2x4 there.
Yeah, he's just caught in the crossfire.
Then Stacey announced that her divorce was final.
Yeah. I was so shocked to hear that. I didn't think we would get that. Maybe because with the other two women who are trying to get a divorce, or I say trying, I don't know that either of them are. But
Ashley's was going on 3 years.
Yeah, so
his girlfriend was milking it. So
yeah. But no, so she got divorced. I thought it was funny though how everybody was congratulating her too.
I know.
Like, good for you.
I know. So she said she has her daughter 1 week on and then 1 week off. Mm-hmm. And she's super bored.
Yeah.
But
and then Wendy was like, call Giselle.
I'm sure Giselle loved that.
She's bored too.
So now we're going to move on to Vivian, the dress designer, and Dressgate.
Okay.
So Stacey is no longer talking to Vivian, who she's known for years and who has dressed her for years.
I know. This is what Housewives does. And it comes quick too. Like you will lose friends within 1 season.
Yeah. So Stacey's no longer a fan of Vivian because she's saying that, which is actually true, that Stacey wore a dress that Ashley had worn 3 months prior. Mm-hmm. And Ashley thought it was hilarious. She showed Giselle the night of the charity event that Stacey was wearing the dress that she had already had. And Stacey thought that Vivian was being shady about it and purposely put her in the same dress. She was very upset by this. This was friendship ending.
I know. Jeez.
I mean, Giselle even said that. She's like, you're no longer friends. And Wendy said, oh, Stacey said to me, fuck that bitch.
I know. And everybody was like, Stacey said that?
Yeah.
You're telling me she said that?
And then Giselle's like, over a dress.
Yeah.
And Stacey's like, yeah, I thought it was terrible that she would put me in something one of my friends had worn. I was like, oof. That's a little snooty.
It 100% is. And then what was also snooty that she said was that she elevates her. Like, I'm sorry, but your stupid charity, no offense, is like not this national thing or whatever. It's like, it's a Housewives charity thing. We've all seen these on these shows and crap like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That came off rough because Andy seemed to be like, well, I think she just means that she allowed her and her brand to be on television.
Right.
And maybe that's what she meant. But how it came off was, you are nothing and I elevate you because you're associated with me.
Right. Oh, 100%. And the other women wear her designs too. So it's actually not like she hasn't been featured on the show. If you liked something that they were wearing, you would know it was hers.
Yes, they all knew her. So it wasn't, Stacey wasn't introducing her to anyone.
No.
And then lastly, she said about Vivian, she's dead to me and it's over.
I know. Like, it seems very...
Where did the Stacey come from?
No, I don't know. It's like you weren't even this aggressive in your divorce, but it's like you're going to rip this girl apart for putting you in a dress.
Because all season I'm calling her, you know, kind and sent from heaven, and she's the sweetest, and and this is like, you know, claws.
I know. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, I don't either. I kind of like it though.
Yeah, I mean, it does. If you thought she was boring, I definitely don't.
I never thought she was boring, but this gives her a little bit of a bite, which I like.
Yeah, I know. Like she will be on, I think, multiple seasons here.
Yeah.
Like she will definitely cut it, I guess.
So then they start talking about the fashion on the show, specifically Wendy's. And Andy makes the comment that in his 18 years, he has never texted a housewife regarding their fashion choice until Wendy wore that blue Michelin Man dress.
It really looked
And they showed his text, and he's like, "Professor," and he posted a picture of her in that, and she's like, "Yes, I know, I get it. Michelin Man chic," I think she called it, or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was terrible. It was funny that he wrote her, though. Like, yikes. Like, we gotta, you know. What were you thinking? One of us.
Yeah.
One of us. Yeah, I know. It was funny, though.
Then Jacqueline joins the group. She's very pregnant. He asks her if this was the nickname PP, which is her former husband or partner.
Her ex. I don't know. I assumed ex-husband.
I thought they were married, but now I don't. This is how little I've invested in Jacqueline. I don't even know if she was married to this person,
right,
or if they were just partners.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking, P, is it like?
No, because I don't know. They have kids together. I know that.
I know, but why the nickname PP?
I thought it was like parental partner or something.
So they're just the parental partners. They're not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It happened so long ago.
So long ago. It was a season.
I know. That's a long time ago. A month? You want me to remember what this guy's nickname was from a month ago? Not going to happen.
Well, anyway, he is not the father. And someone's asked if Ink was. Oh, my God. The way they just throw shit out on here is hilarious to me. But
well, you want to know why? It's because Jacqueline and Mia seem like they have this like incestuous thing going on. So they're just like,
they share everything.
Yes. So
it's not, though. She clarified that it is not Ink's as well, that it was somebody they haven't met or hasn't been on camera or something. So,
yeah.
Like, okay. Well, this does not make you more interesting.
No,
so.
It does not.
Then they talk about Mia and Ink, and she says that they broke up. And everyone kind of rolls their eyes. Nobody believes it. No one. And this is why, though, because Giselle said, "You don't live here. You live in Atlanta, and Ink lives in Atlanta." And Mia denies it. She's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "No, people see you on the back of the plane." Which, I mean, are you insinuating that she has to fly coach or something, and she's got the last row by the bathroom? Yeah. I mean, that's so mean. But she's like, "That's not true." And Giselle's like, "It's absolutely true. You can lie about it all you want, but you live in Atlanta." Now, how Giselle would know this, I don't know.
Yeah,
but then
tabs on her.
Somebody asks where the kids go to school. Maybe it was Andy or maybe it was Wendy. I'm not sure. And she said they're homeschooled, so they can go wherever. Doesn't matter. So that kind of led to receipts in Giselle's favor.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't care. A lot of these women don't live in the cities they're,
I mean, I think that they should, but
I would agree.
They don't. So
or at least close.
I know. I mean, I don't really necessarily care about this too much. If she goes to visit Ink in Atlanta, who cares? It would make sense if they were together. But I don't think that she would ever give up her place in Potomac, though, because Gordon's there.
Yeah.
And I mean, their kids would want to see him.
I would agree.
So even if she's not there full time, then I would assume she still has it.
Well, Wendy has this theory that Gordon, Ink, and Mia are all in on this fake divorce. Because she said something like they're not getting a divorce. And Mia's like, "What are you talking about?" And Andy's like, but they are. And she's like, no, they're not. It's all fake.
Well, someone tell Gordon that, because I don't know if he knows.
Well, I saw an interesting comment, because I'm like, come on, who would put their kids through this? A lot of the comments were somebody who's broke and are like, kids are resilient, they'll be fine. And someone else said that they thought maybe Gordon agreed to it in the beginning, but then it just got too hard for him, and he's like, I'm not doing this.
Probably. I mean...
But do you think they're faking it?
I don't see why they would fake a divorce at this point. I mean, I get why maybe she would want Ink around just to kind of have somebody on the show and mess with Gordon a little bit. I wouldn't put that past her. But I don't see why they would go through all of that to get a divorce. I don't know who said it, but I think that it 100% is Gordon was fine with it at first. Because we actually know that, I think. Didn't he say that?
He did, and we know that she's been cheating the whole marriage.
Right.
So getting a divorce isn't a shock.
No.
She doesn't love him. But maybe the whole breaking up with Ink thing's fake. I don't know. You're right. I always kind of want to see the best in people, and I'm thinking, why would she put her kids through this? Who would do that? There are so many people that would do this that don't care or think their kids are going to be fine. My God, she told them on camera for the first time, her kids, that they were getting a divorce. We covered this. We covered this several episodes ago where we're like, holy shit, did she just tell them on camera?
Like, wait, what? Like, he totally didn't know. Jeremiah did not know at all.
No. And she admitted it.
I know. Yeah, she sideswiped him with that. She was like, my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a drive-by. But so I guess I can come around to the idea that this might not all be on the up and up.
Yeah.
Mia then said that they had official paternity testing done, and Gordon is Jeremiah's father through IVF. Who here is surprised?
Oh my God. I mean, and I know that Wendy did IVF, so she would know immediately. And Ashley seemed like she knew a bit about it too.
I don't know what she knows.
She just
But Wendy,
it.
I would,
yeah.
But I do think I trust Wendy.
She would know 100% about, having to take a blood test to make sure that, you're not pregnant. Yeah. So Mia doesn't know what she's talking about. This is why she completely created that scenario.
Yeah.
And I think she told Ink that too. There is no reason why Ink would think that that was his kid unless she threw that out there at some point.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is that she had the process done and then slept with him the next day. And then she got pregnant, and then it's like, I don't know.
Right. It's just like it's IVF. God. It's so official, and it's so like you knew the father was this is why I put nothing past her, because this is so stupid and so dumb. Well, and everybody knew.
Right. Like, and this is also why all the women feel like this is appalling. Yes. Like, she was getting pounded on, and I get it. It's, no one likes a gang up, but she was taking hits from all over the place, and they were all justified.
Yeah.
And so towards the end, it got really rough because Giselle flat out called her a terrible mother.
Yeah.
And she's like, no mother would put their child on TV with this platform of, I don't know your paternity. Only a terrible mother would do that. And this season, you were a terrible mother. And so Mia got up and left.
Yeah.
And then Ashley said something like, I guess the truth hurts. But that was rough.
It was. I mean, I know that that's clearly how they all feel at the moment, but I don't know.
I don't know. Did she need to hear it, though?
Maybe. I don't know. Do you know that you were? Because I don't know if you know.
Right.
And if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you.
Well, she was starting to defend herself,
Yeah.
saying she was getting lots of messages from women going through the same thing.
Who would be going through the same thing as her? Who's going through this?
Lots of women, apparently.
I would like to hear of one other person who was going through this.
Jacqueline?
Oh my God. I don't think you have tons of women.
No.
Okay.
No. Of all the things that didn't happen, that didn't happen the most. But it was kind of a rough ending.
Yeah.
So then the reunion ends with showing the men in their dressing room, and it's Greg and Eddie. And Eddie's like, hey, let's FaceTime TJ and see where he is, because they haven't been out there. They don't know that Stacey and TJ broke up.
Yeah.
So he's like, where are you? What are you doing? You know, it sounds like he's out in LA because he was talking about his house having fire damage.
Right. His other life is in LA.
Exactly. And we get this cliffhanger because we see that Eddie texts Wendy with some sort of bombshell, and Wendy's just like, holy shit. Everybody, including Andy, is looking at her like, what? What?
Yes. What did you get that would make you say that and have that reaction? We all need to know. And nobody moved. Nobody anything. Like,
no.
What?
Nobody did move.
Yeah.
Everybody turned, and then it's just like, spill it.
Yeah.
So that will be in the conclusion next week of part 3 of the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening to episode 38 of Nice-ish. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, or Blue Sky at Nice-ish Podcast or Love Cindy C. You can listen to Nice-ish wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Look for new episodes every Monday. Thank you for listening and have a nice-ish day.